If you're like us, then you love strange and bizarre discoveries that the experts often have trouble fully explaining. After all, it can be both exciting and a bit terrifying when scientists look at something and say they aren't sure what it is. That's the case with these following discoveries made deep inside the Amazon forest. From animals and creatures to artifacts and structures, these all prove that the world still needs a lot more exploration. Fortunately, one thing that you don't have to search for is our subscribe button. Try pushing it and the notification button, and we bet good things will happen. Spider decoys. As you can imagine, the Amazon rainforest is filled with all sorts of spiders. From really little guys all the way up to those massive bird-eating tarantulas, it's enough to make anyone with arachnophobia run away screaming. Yet in the Peruvian section of the forest, researchers came across a spider which is unlike any other they've seen. When this little guy isn't building his web or eating insects, it's building a much larger spider replica. Taking leftover insect bits and other debris, the spider creates a rather convincing-looking spider decoy. Think of it like a statue, only researchers don't really know what its real purpose is. On the one hand, it may be building the large fake spider to attract something. Then again, maybe it's just part of a spider cult that enjoys building tributes to some spider god. Okay, in all seriousness, that's probably not the case. Experts noticed that the smaller spider would shake its web, which made the larger decoy move about. Because of this, they think the fake spider is actually built to scare away larger insects that may prey on the tiny spider. That would make it a scarecrow, or in this case, a scare spider. Stonehenge version 2.0. One of the most iconic sites and biggest tourist attractions in England are the ruins at Stonehenge. Since their discovery, historians, archaeologists, and a range of other experts have tried to figure out what exactly the structure and location was used for. The stones, the burial mounds, the circular ditches all suggest it played a spiritual or ritualistic role in the lives of humans thousands of years ago. Naturally, when drones flying over the Amazon discovered hundreds of similar shapes on the ground below, you can imagine their excitement. Long concealed under the dense Amazon forests of Brazil, once loggers and farmers had cleared large areas, the strange shapes became visible from the sky. In all, 450 earthworks similar to the design found at Stonehenge have been found. Like Stonehenge, the Brazilian formations have the same shape and include an outer ditch and inner wall. Researchers have no clue what the designs mean or what purpose they served. However, these hundreds of man-made earthworks suggest that long before we started clearing the forest, early humans had already left their impression on the rainforest ecosystem in order to make room for their mysterious construction. Ecuadorian treasure. It's the kind of stuff you read about in fantasy novels or see in an Indiana Jones movie. Cutting your way through a thick forest and climbing through hilly terrain shrouded in clouds, you come across an ancient, lost city. The area promises treasures like you've never seen, either hidden inside an intimidating pyramid or buried in the grounds nearby. Sure, this sounds like a Hollywood plot, but it's actually a true story. You see, within the rainforest that stretches into Ecuador, researchers came across a large structure that, if legends were true, might contain a pile of gold and treasure hidden inside by an Incan general. Others think it may be a mausoleum for the Atahualpa, the last emperor of the Incas. In any event, the location is a solid 8-hour hike through dense forests to the nearest town. The government would like to open it up to tourism, but we think it'll be some time before that happens. After all, researchers need to figure out exactly what they're dealing with. And if Indiana Jones is anything to go by, they'll have to take care of all those booby traps and poisonous snakes, which surely fill the area. Snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes? The Boiling River. While many people associate the Amazon rainforest with Brazil, this massive feature expands into several nearby countries, including Peru. It is here in the Peruvian rainforest that all sorts of legends and myths were passed down from generations about everything from treasure to boiling rivers. Yes, boiling rivers. Now, features like hot springs, geysers, and even volcanic rivers aren't unheard of. Their temperatures are all regulated by nearby volcanic activity. That's where the Peruvian river is different. Dubbed the Boiling River by locals, a trek through the forest soon leads you to a steaming body of water. The big difference here is that the nearest active volcano is hundreds of miles away. Doubly impressive is the fact that the river is 80 feet wide, 16 feet deep, and 4 miles long, yet it still reaches average temperatures of 186 degrees Fahrenheit. A word of warning though, the temperatures can spike much higher than that, and animals are often seen roasting in the bubbling waters. For years, no one could explain how such a large river could get so hot. Surely it wasn't, as the locals believed, merely sun power that did it. Today, the most logical explanation seems to be that the river is fed by springs linked to the nearby fault line. El Dorado? Next to Atlantis, there is probably no other location of legend as sought after as El Dorado. Whether a city, region, or empire of gold and treasure, the myth of El Dorado has fueled expeditions dating all the way back to the 16th century. For hundreds of years, people searched throughout the Amazon rainforest to find this location. Yet it always ended up the same, as teams returned empty-handed, if they returned at all. Today it's believed simply to be a myth, yet satellite imagery suggests that may not be the case. Thanks to ever-improving satellite imagery of the Earth, hundreds of earthworks and evidence of human life were discovered near the border between Brazil and Bolivia. Spanning over 150 miles, the network of geometric shapes and ditches suggest that at one time a very advanced and large civilization called this area home. Closer inspection of the area uncovered various tools and evidence of human life. In fact, many of the structures predate Christopher Columbus and suggest a civilization with a population of around 60,000. Indeed, it's a discovery that has baffled more than a few researchers who long believed the Amazon was too harsh to support anything larger than isolated tribes of humans. Get out your metal detectors and your shovels, because we're going exploring in this quiz. In 2013, the Sierra Nevada mountain range in California made headlines when an anonymous couple made an incredible find. What did they discover? We'll tell you all the details at the end of the video. The Maping Wari. From the mysterious Sasquatch to the terrifying Yeti, every region of the world is reportedly home to a strange and rarely seen beast that lives in the forests or more remote areas. Now you're probably shaking your head in disbelief, but seriously, bear with us. After all, quite a few people believe in Bigfoot, and it turns out the Amazon has its own version. Meet the Maping Wari, the rainforest version of Bigfoot. This creature is mentioned a lot in native folklore. Yet even today, you can find more than a few people who live in the Amazon who swear that they have seen one. We imagine once you see a Maping Wari, you won't forget it. After all, it's said to be several feet tall, covered in fur and lizard-like skin, and sporting a single large eye. Oh, yeah, it also allegedly has a second mouth on its chest. The most credible observation comes from Colonel P.H. Fawcett, an explorer who eventually disappeared without a trace. In his diary, Fawcett recorded a run-in with a group of large, hairy, ape-like men in 1914. They fit the general description of the Maping Wari, but ran when Fawcett and his men fired their guns. In all fairness, we would run too. A massive reef. All of this time spent looking in the jungle, and we've overlooked one area where yet another mystery exists. The Amazon River is a key feature to the massive rainforest. It's home to all sorts of strange and sometimes terrifying creatures. Yet where the river meets the ocean, divers found an unexpected surprise. At first glance, the area where the freshwater meets the saltwater of the Atlantic is murky thanks to large amounts of suspended sediment. Hidden underneath this cloudy layer was discovered a colorful and vibrant coral reef. The fact that so much plant and animal life exists here is shocking, as scientists always thought areas where salt and fresh water meet created a harsh environment. Add into this the current and murky conditions, and it's no surprise that scuba divers never ventured into the depths until just a few years ago. So far, the only dependable way to learn more about the reef is to catch fish and map the bottom with sonar. However, until more images and divers are able to descend to the reef itself, there will be many unanswered questions. The Picket Fence. We've already mentioned the discovery of numerous Stonehenge-like works located throughout the Amazon area. While they didn't have actual rocks and structures like the ones in England, these Amazonian Stonehenges had similar designs and earthworks. Well, it turns out that nature decided to emulate humans and have one of its smaller creatures confuse us with a mystery. Introducing Silkhenge. Okay, that's not a scientific name, but researchers used that term when they came across very tiny silk structures scattered throughout the rainforest. Upon closer examination, the structures look like a tiny white picket fence surrounding a larger silk monolith. For months, the online world debated what this was, with the most accepted answer being that it was created by a spider. A team sent to the area watched these tiny structures for days and were soon rewarded when spiderlings emerged. Strangely, only one spiderling emerged from each structure. This, along with the fact that no adult spiders appeared to be hanging around, made it an incredibly odd find. The reason behind the fencing isn't clear either, as it could be to protect the single baby spider or maybe trap mites for an easy first meal. Whatever the final answers, experts will have to start by identifying the species of spider, which still remains a mystery. The visitors. From the Ural Mountains in Russia to Area 51 in the good old US of A, it seems like Earth definitely has some hotspots when it comes to alien visitors. Well, add the Amazon rainforest to that list of popular destinations for out-of-galaxy visitors. Now, we could go on and on about all the UFO sightings in South America, but that video would be super long. Instead, we'll get right to the good stuff and show you some evidence that left people wondering. While visiting a village in the Brazilian rainforest, 2 British tourists snapped a picture of some local children with whom they were speaking. Upon getting home and reliving the memories, they got a chill up their spine when they looked at one particular image. There in the background on the edge of the clearing appeared to be an alien standing not too far from some sort of light orb. UFO experts say this isn't surprising given that area sees a lot of UFO activity. However, the alien in the photo seems pretty unconcerned with the crowd of humans nearby. Maybe he's been there before. Or perhaps he's more concerned about running into a Mapinguari than a couple of tourists. A strange relationship. If you're terrified of strange fungi, snakes, insects, and arachnids, then the Amazon rainforest is definitely not for you. For the rest of you brave souls, come on in! Many people take up that challenge, including a range of researchers and scientists looking to find new species or simply new information about already discovered plants and animals. Then one team discovered a whole bunch of strange yellow balls attached to the side of a tree. Interestingly, in addition to the strange balls, there were even stranger caterpillars eating the balls. To finish it all off, there were ants who appeared to be using their legs to hit on the back of the caterpillars while they munched away. So, what the heck was going on here? As best as they can tell, researchers believe that as the caterpillars ate the yellow fungi orbs, they produced some sort of nectar which the ants craved. In exchange, the ants protect the caterpillars from any enemies. It truly is the circle of life. But researchers aren't really sure what the yellow balls are or how this strange relationship developed. To add extra mystery, when they returned to the same tree sometime later, the yellow balls were gone, and no ants or caterpillars were to be found anywhere. So, do you know what the couple discovered in the Sierra Nevada mountains in 2013? The answer: the biggest hoard of gold coins ever discovered in the US. That's right, the anonymous pair stumbled across what is now known as the Saddle Ridge Hoard. The 1,427 coins are believed to be worth more than $10 million. If you're looking for an excuse to get out and explore the world around you, well, we think this might be it. Well, that's all for our Amazonian excursion today. We need a nap, but if you still feel like exploring, then feel free to check out some of the other fun and informative videos The Richest has about strange and incredible discoveries. Just be sure to register with the archaeological team by hitting that subscribe button before you head out. We'll see you later. Bye-bye for now.